Hey everyone! So if you've been following my journey for long enough, you know that I'm the type of person who really likes to question things and really understand the reason why things are done. This is one of the main reasons why sometimes training at various MMA gyms or even some BJJ gyms, I really get frustrated when something is shown, but the explanation is only do this, do that, and do this, and there's no deeper explanation of why are you doing this? Why does it work? What are the principles behind it? What is the application of it? Or in what circumstances does it work and in what circumstances it doesn't work? So then you're given that technique and you have to learn a lot by trial and error. And obviously trial and error is great, especially in live drilling, but there's a limit to that. If you would learn all by trial and error, then the learning process is so much slower because there are people who have already done this. There are people who already went through those mistakes, and even if they clarified and crystallized a training method which really explains good reasons behind why you're doing things so you wouldn't have to take forever to understand yourself, there's still plenty of things to discover on your own and to realize the mechanics behind it. So it doesn't take away the effort from you, but it boosts you up so much further. Also too, looking at my personal experience, currently I'm back in my hometown where I have limited access to MMA training. And so coupling those two reasons together, that's one of the reasons why I went on a quest to find the best mixed martial arts striking instructional out there. I was looking specifically for a striking instructional because jiu-jitsu, I feel, it is very complex, and the complexity oftentimes is explained by instructors. Again, not all the gyms. Some gyms just throw a technique at you, give you the basics of it, and then you have to learn by yourself. But the gym, SPG Portland, when I was training at for 6 months, Matt Thornton, Coach Matt Thornton, he really broke things down. He really explained the reasons behind why you do things, and that just boosted my progress so much further on. And I wanted to discover that same method of learning in the striking game of mixed martial arts. So thankfully my quest was successful and I found an instructional which I really fell in love with. It's an instructional made by MMAShredded, or specifically Jeff Chan. Jeff Chan is a highly experienced MMA fighter. He has a successful and big amateur record and also a successful run as a pro. Jeff has been training Muay Thai since he's 15, and also he's really well-rounded in the whole MMA game. Now, the reason I fell in love with his newest instructional, the MMA Striker, it's because it really answered to what exactly I was searching for. As I was watching the instructional, it was clear from the very first moment that Jeff, as a coach, is really the person who likes to understand how and why things work. And not only he understands it himself, he also is able to communicate that really well by simplifying it, but not taking anything away from it. There's this interesting phenomena in martial arts where an instructor can be really capable himself as a practitioner or as a fighter, but a lot of people, they're not very good coaches. Being a great expert doesn't make you a great coach. When I watched the instructional made by Jeff, it was clear that he's really good at the fighting realm and he's really good at communicating that. And it's a fairly rare occasion, and it's something that is really valuable and amazing to get in touch with. Also too, when you watch some instructionals, you can have that sense that the instructor is kind of holding some things back and only giving some of the basics away because, you also have to take care of your fighting team and you have to kind of keep some of the stuff for yourself. But you don't feel that from Jeff's instructional. You can really feel he poured all his heart and experience into it, and feels like he really lays everything down on the table, and there's just such a vast amount of really valuable and useful details in improving your MMA striking game. Some of the first chapters dive quite deep into the combinations of striking, starting from basics and going to more advanced striking combinations. There's a lot of attention to kicking because, as Jeff says himself, he's fond of the kicking game in mixed martial arts. And not only that there are explanations of the combos, like, for 1, 2, and a 3, but he explains why you do it, how you set it up, in what certain situations it works. And everything is backed by real actual sparring and fighting experience. And the part of the instructional which is really nice is that every time a technique is explained, most of the techniques are shown in footage of actual sparring where Jeff applies it to unknowing opponents, or even in some of his fighting matches. So it's really clear that it's not just some fancy, nice looking combinations to kind of give you a sense that you're learning but not really giving any substance, but it's really the things which he discovered through his career, through his fighting career, the things which really work, And those are the things, the high percentage things that he conveys in the best possible way, which I find is really, really cool. One of my favorite chapters of the instructional, which I find to be quite rarely introduced in an instructional, are the chapters where Jeff introduces different approaches and strategies how to deal with certain types of fighters, such as a brawler, counterpuncher, and a southpaw. I find that to be really cool because, again, in my experience in MMA so far, there's so much trial and error, and obviously it's a must. You have to have the trial and error, but if you're just relying on it, it takes such a long time until you figure things out, and during sparring you realize, oh, in a southpaw, you know, his left side is more open and maybe I can engage that, and it can take like forever to discover that one point, and then it can take forever to discover another point, and then you have another different type of fighter, and again, you have to think so much and takes so long to understand how to counter their game. But it's such a huge benefit to receive actual guidance from an experienced fighter who already went through that process, and to give you some basics of the best approach to deal with those with specific types of fighters. I feel this is priceless. Now, having watched the instructional, I'm just looking forward so much to have a chance to spar with those types of guys and to actually apply the suggestion that Jeff makes and how to deal with them, because it really makes sense what he says in those chapters. So in a way, you're not just learning techniques of 1, 2, 3, you know, throw a punch here, throw a kick here, but you're actually developing your fighting IQ with the guidance of the instructional. If all of that was not enough, there's even chapters at the very end of doing takedowns from the clinch, doing takedowns from the outside, defending takedowns, and even some groundwork, which is more designed for a striking type of fighter. So there's no attempt to create the ultimate grappler in the instructional, but there's some really well chosen and designed pointers for a striker to still have the knowledge of, okay, how can I do a takedown, you know, if some of my techniques fail, or if I feel pressured, or how to defend the takedowns, how to make space on the ground and get up successfully, or if you have a successful takedown, you know, how to successfully pass the guard, land some punches. Basically, just making you much more well-rounded, even if you're focused on the striking game. And again, everything is explained in the same well-put, well-designed, thought-of line, where things are explained in pretty much the best possible way. Now, to all of those interested in the course, obviously the money question is relevant to all of us, and I found the price to be really good. It's actually just below $100, which for such an instructional having so much depth, covering so much, I think it's a great price. And honestly, I feel Jeff could have made it much more expensive, but I feel that we as the audience are lucky to have that price, because basically the way I look at it, sometimes when you think, I think instructionals, a lot of instructionals are way more expensive, but if you look at $100, sometimes it's difficult to make that decision, should I invest this or should I not invest this? But we invest money into the craziest of things and the same amount, and we don't feel bad about it because we're used to that. So if you're not used to investing into instructionals, take an example of buying running shoes. Let's say that's probably going to cost you around $100. But the thing is, you're running with them for months upon months. Maybe you have them for a year or maybe 2 years. So divide the 2 years by $100 and you're not paying that much per month. When you look at an instructional like this one, you're investing money into clarified, purified, and well-designed knowledge, which would take you so much time to realize on your own. Yet that instructional, you pay for it and you have it forever. Now, myself, as a person who watched and has that product, I know that I will keep coming back to it. I will keep reflecting on it. Ever since I have it, I keep writing down notes and rewatching it, and it will come of use to me not only in the form of watching it for a long time, but I know that all of that knowledge I will be applying for my whole MMA career. So if you divide the less than $100 for that, it's no-brainer, at least in my mind. Now, still, if you're really low on money, it's not the end of the world. Jeff has a successful YouTube channel with over 100K subscribers, which is called the same, MMAShredded. There's a lot of great material there, and I wouldn't say that, by watching the free material, you will get more than from the instructional. I feel the instructional is definitely worth buying because it's all it's all systemized, it's all purified, and you're getting the best in a compact way. But still, if you're saving money and you need some good advice, check his channel, subscribe to it. Even if you're gonna buy the instructional, check the channel. It's a really good channel. I think it's definitely worth to be his follower. And one last thing, as I'm recording this video, there's a time difference between me and the States. So as I knew I will publish this video today, I didn't have a chance to ask yet Jeff this question, but I'm hoping that he will agree to have a recorded talk with me online, where I will pose the questions to him that I gathered up from watching the instructional. So if he agrees and we have that talk and you want to see that talk, subscribe to the Martial Arts Journey channel to see the related content. And I'm pretty sure that if we will have that talk, you will see how vast and well systemized knowledge Jeff has as a coach. All in all, as always, thank you for watching this whole video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I will be happy to answer to as many of them as I can. Jeff is very active online, as much as I see. He's on his online platform as well. He answers questions, and so I have a feeling he might jump in and answer some of the questions as well. So take that chance, write those comments. A pretty high chance you will get an answer from at least one of us. So all in all, again, thank you for watching the whole video. If you need a link to the instructional, you will find it in the description and the top of the comments. You know, it's gonna be all over the place. Check it out, and as always, I wish you to own your journey.